The envelope landed on the table with a soft thud that cut through the clink of forks against plates. I picked it up, my fingers already trembling before I even saw the letterhead for my parents' names printed neatly at the top. Rent for October, it read in crisp black ink. $1,200 due on the 1st. No exceptions. My stomach dropped. Mom kept spooning mashed potatoes onto Ethan's plate without looking at me, her manicured nails catching the overhead light. Dad scrolled through his phone, acting like this was the most normal thing in the world. "You're charging me to live in the house I grew up in?" The words came out quieter than I intended, but they hung heavy in the dining room air of our suburban Chicago split level. At 23, I'd been pulling 12-hour days, receptionist at the insurance agency until 5, then closing shifts at the corner diner until midnight most nights. My feet throbbed constantly, and my shoulders carried the permanent knot from carrying trays and smiling through rude customers. Ethan, my 26-year-old brother, didn't even glance up from his screen. "It's about responsibility." "Soph," Mom said smoothly, her voice that practiced mix of concern and authority. "You're an adult now. Time to contribute like one." Contribute. The word tasted bitter. I'd been contributing since high school, paying for my own clothes, gas, school supplies after Dad lost his management job, and things got tight. Meanwhile, Ethan lounged in the basement playing video games until dawn, streaming to a handful of loyal viewers, and finding himself with no deadline. "What about Ethan?" I asked, hating how small my voice sounded. He finally looked up, annoyed. "What about me?" Mom jumped in defensively. "Your brother is building something real with his streaming channel. He needs space to focus. You're the one with steady paychecks." Steady paychecks that barely covered my car payment, student loans from community college, and groceries after they started deducting my share of utilities. I stared at the itemized list. Rent, Wi-Fi, which Ethan dominated for his streams, even the mysterious household maintenance fee. My hands shook as I folded the paper. "This is my childhood bedroom," I whispered. Dad finally met my eyes. "Exactly. You're not a kid anymore, Sophia. Family helps family by teaching real-world skills. Family helps family." Those words would echo for months, twisting into something darker in my mind. That night, I sat on my bed, the same one with the faded floral comforter from middle school, and ran the numbers on my phone calculator. After rent, car, insurance, minimum loan payments, gas for the commute, I had maybe $350 left for everything else. Food, clothes that fit after stress eating less, a doctor's visit I'd been putting off. My phone lit up with a notification. Ethan had used my linked account for another food delivery. Again, the resentment didn't hit all at once. It built slowly, like water seeping under a door. Days turned into weeks of me coming home exhausted to find my leftovers gone, my shampoo bottle empty, while Mom bought Ethan new gaming peripherals to support his dream. I started a secret spreadsheet on my phone during breaks at work, logging every unfair charge, every borrowed item without repayment, every dismissive comment about my complaining. Ryan, the quiet IT guy at the agency, noticed first. He fixed my glitchy computer one afternoon and saw the minimize tab. "Budget troubles?" he asked gently, his kind eyes behind glasses not pushing. I shrugged it off at first, but over shared lunches, him sliding half his sandwich my way when I claimed I wasn't hungry, he shared his own story about helping a sibling's separate finances quietly. That conversation planted the seed. I opened a new account at a different bank, routing part of my direct deposits there where no mail came to the house. Invisible savings. My first act of quiet rebellion. Mom commented on my weight loss, blaming too many late shifts. Dad suggested I cut back on frivolous spending when my tires needed replacing. Ethan smirked when I said no to lending my car for his networking meetup. Each dismissal fed the spreadsheet. I added categories: emotional toll, lost opportunities, hidden subsidies for Ethan's lifestyle. The numbers climbed past $10,000 extracted over months, while Ethan contributed nothing. The hunger became familiar, a constant low hum rather than sharp pangs. I learned to stretch coffee and crackers, smiling through diner shifts while the smell of burgers made my mouth water. Ryan's packed lunches became lifelines, offered casually, without questions. We talked about side gigs instead, data entry work from home that could add hidden income. I took every one he sent, working past 2 a.m. after diner shifts, funneling every extra dollar into the secret account. One morning, I found Ethan in my room rummaging through drawers. "Just need stamps," he said casually. When I caught him with my emergency card, the argument escalated. He accused me of being selfish with extra money, while he struggled. That night, the spreadsheet gained an emotional interest column. The Dunning pressure built inside me, slow and relentless. Months blurred together in a haze of exhaustion and calculation. My hidden account grew steadily, $500, then $2,000, $5,000, each deposit a small defiance. I became a shadow in the house, speaking only when necessary, maintaining the facade of the struggling but compliant daughter. Mom hosted elaborate Thursday dinners with prime rib and wine. Expenses I mentally tallied at over $100 while my own meals stayed sparse. "Ethan has a big streaming event tomorrow," she'd announce proudly. "Sophia, grab dessert on your way home." I did, logging the receipt, watching my visible account drain while the secret one swelled. The house smelled of celebration I wasn't part of. Ethan's viewer count hovered low, but praise flowed freely. When Dad mentioned a bounced rent check that I knew hadn't bounced, I had the cash deposit receipt. The added fees hit like another slap. "Real world, kiddo," he said over seconds of roast. "Landlords don't play nice." I knew they were struggling too. Late one night, Mom left her tablet open with banking apps visible. Password still Ethan's birthday after all these years. 3 refinances. Equities stripped. Mortgage underwater by tens of thousands. They were using my rent to patch holes while keeping up appearances. New furniture for Ethan's studio. Vacations framed as family bonding but really escapes from creditors. That discovery shifted something. No longer just surviving their lessons, I started studying real estate investment quietly through library books and late-night research. Ryan connected me with Dana, a realtor who turned out to have her own complicated history with my mom from old neighborhood circles. Over coffee in a quiet shop, I laid out bank statements, freelance contracts, pay stubs. They charged me $1,200 for my childhood room while Ethan lives free, I explained flatly. Dana's expression hardened. "Let's find you something cash. Through an LLC. Keep it invisible." The target property was a modest ranch needing updates but solid, priced low after sitting empty. I funneled more freelance hours into the escape fund. Moving happened in fragments, boxes transferred to storage during supposed extra shifts, belongings disappearing gradually so no one noticed the picture frames emptying or closets thinning. The 30-day notice I prepared sat heavy in my drawer. But first, the house closing. November brought chill winds off Lake Michigan. I paid final rent in cash with stamped receipt, maintaining perfection on the surface. Ethan rifled through my things again, discovering old statements but missing the current hidden wealth. "You hiding money?" he sneered. I stayed calm. "Just paperwork." Dana texted coded updates, closing on track. My parents received their own pre-foreclosure warnings, which they dismissed publicly as bank errors. The tension coiled tighter. Mandatory family dinner arrived. The table set beautifully. Roast fragrant, I slid the notice across when they proposed raising rent again. Silence fell thick. You're moving? To where? Mom's voice cracked. My own place, I replied evenly. A house. Actually. Laughter from Ethan turned to disbelief. Arguments erupted. Accusations of childishness. Predictions of failure. I reminded them of their own rules. Independence. Proper notice. Market rates. I canceled utilities in my name effective post-move date. Their faces paled at the implications. 4 days of charade remained. I smiled through final chores, watched them toast Ethan's modest streaming milestones. Inside, the spreadsheet now tracked toward freedom. The house keys waited in my glove box. On moving day, I left as a ghost, belongings gone. Props remaining. The house glowed behind me, warmth I never truly felt. 6 months later, the spreadsheets told a new story. My ranch house, my real home, had creaky floors I cherished and a kitchen I slowly upgraded with my earnings. No more midnight diner exhaustion without reward. Freelance had scaled. The framed first rent invoice sat on my desk as reminder.
Not trophy yet.
Through Hollow Ridge Holdings LLC, I acquired their mortgage note. Paramount Bank offloaded distress loans eagerly. 4 months behind after my departure. Their facade crumbled fast. For sale signs appeared then vanished. Attempts to sell without approval. Skirting legality. Notices went out professionally. Past due demands. Added fees mirroring their old invoices. Calls flooded block numbers. Voicemails from mom grew desperate. Family emergency. Mistake with the loan. Please. Sophia. Ethan mailed letters to my old workplace. I burned them unread. Ryan drove by occasionally, reporting changes. Ethan's car booted. Gaming setup sold off. The real world they preached arrived uninvited. Dana prepared for confrontation. You don't have to reveal yourself, she advised before the meeting. But revelation was the point. The lesson demanded completion. They sat smaller in the conference room, mom in off-brand clothes, dad slouched. Ethan absent. Moved in with friends post-repossession. Recognition hit when I entered, shock rippling into horror. Sophia? Mom whispered. I represent Hollow Ridge Holdings, I said, taking my seat. Folder open. Regarding your mortgage. Paperwork slid across. Full past due $45,000 plus fees. Or vacate. Accusations flew. Extortion. Betrayal. We were teaching you responsibility, Dad said hoarsely. Lesson learned, I replied. Market rates. Business structures. Family as transaction. Options outlined. Pay full. Or take the furnished garage studio at $1,200 monthly. Utilities extra for internet. Irony landed heavily. Their own words returned amplified. Mom's hand reached out. The same that once pushed the first invoice. I pulled away. 48 hours to decide or evict. They chose the garage. Defeated. First/last/ security. $3,600 cash demanded. Storage brochures provided helpfully. As I left, Mom called after about Ethan. He's 29. Time he learns financial responsibility too. Their faces mirrored the recognition. I had become their curriculum's perfect graduate. The garage conversion happened swiftly. I supplied basic furnishings from storage. Items once theirs, now leased back. Rent started promptly. Late fees enforced strictly. They paid in cash on the first. Receipts signed. No Venmo. Professional distance maintained through the LLC. Ethan visited occasionally. Loading boxes. Looking worn. Streaming dreams paused for part-time work. Mom's messages softened then stopped. Dad avoided eye contact during rare property checks. The house they once owned now generated income for me while they paid market rate for limited space. My own life expanded. Dinners with Ryan turn dates. Weekends restoring the ranch without exhaustion's shadow. The old spreadsheet closed, new ones tracked positive cash flow. Mortgage payments flowing through the LLC. Balanced ledgers. Reflections came in quiet evenings on my porch. The hunger pangs long gone, replaced by satisfaction edged with ache. Had I become what they modeled? Transactional love exacted precisely. Yet their choices created the path, favoritism draining resources. Rent masking deeper insolvency. Neighbors whispered about the family arrangement. I offered no explanations. The moral weight settled, justice or cruelty, following rules to their logical end. A year on, the garage tenants maintained payments. Occasional repairs billed fairly. Ethan secured steady employment, contributing finally. Mom and Dad aged visibly in the small space. Lifestyle downsized. I hosted Ryan for dinner in my fully renovated kitchen. Laughter filling rooms once silent. The framed invoice remained, a talisman of survival. Family helps family, they taught. I helped by enforcing the same standards they imposed. Yet nights brought questions. Where does protection end and exploitation begin? Had independence justified the mirror reversal? Their faces at the table that final dinner haunted, shock turning to understanding of consequences. The real world teaches harshly. I graduated their course. Diploma paid in full. But echoes linger. Love quantified. Bonds ledgered. What price fairness when blood ties demand more? In my home, free of invoices, I pondered if mercy might have altered trajectories. Their lessons complete. Mine evolved, boundaries drawn. Self-preserved. The balance sheet evened, but the human cost lingered in quiet moments. A haunting reminder that family fractures leave scars on both sides.